They waited, and now finally the wait is over, as Celtic have made an official approach to sign Adam Idah from Norwich City. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football. Celtic now looking like they're going to spend some of that cash. We all knew it was going to happen. We all knew that Celtic were going to make an attempt to sign Adam Idah. It's pretty much been the most talked about thing at Celtic Park, other than Matt O'Reilly, since the Scottish Cup final, where Adam Idah's goal was the difference maker in Celtic's 1-0 win over Rangers. We knew that Celtic were likely going to try and make this deal permanent. For some reason, though, it took a while to happen, but now Celtic have made an approach. Sky Sports are reporting that right now the two clubs are trying to get a fair deal, because at the moment, the valuation from both sides appears to be way off. It looks like Norwich want 8 million. But the problem is, Celtic have reportedly offered only half of that. So Celtic have offered 4, but Norwich appear to want 8. Now, could you argue that he's worth somewhere in the middle? I believe so. I think when Celtic originally signed this guy, I think Norwich were after 5 million for a permanent deal, but because of the goals that Idah has scored, because of the important goals that Idah has scored, whether we think he's a great footballer or not, I think it's a fair comment that if Adam Idah wasn't playing for Celtic last season, Celtic probably don't win the league, because Adam Idah scored important goals that I'm just not sure O would have scored. So it's not bashing Celtic, it's just being honest. You know, he got these important goals. Now, you could argue that if Idah didn't get them, somebody else would have been in his place to get them. But that might not have been the case. So we can't say that Idah wasn't important, because he came on. I remember the game against Motherwell. I mean, he practically won Celtic 3 points that day, got them an extra 2 points. Had Celtic not won that game, they would have slipped 4 points behind Rangers. That game kept it at 2, so that was a very important one. Obviously, the Scottish Cup final, him scoring in the last minute. Was he aided from a Jack Butland mistake? Of course, but he was still there. He was in the right position. He was clinical, he was poaching, and he made sure that he was going to get that opportunity if the ball fell to him, and it did fall to him, and he scored. So we can say that some of his goals were easy. He scored a couple of penalties, but you got to score these goals, and we've seen plenty of players that haven't been able to put easy chances away. So should Norwich want more for Adam Idah? I mean, possibly. Is he worth 8 million though? I'm not convinced. I think Celtic could get better for 8 million. I certainly think there's better strikers in the Scottish Premiership right now that Celtic would not need to pay 8 million for. I'm looking at Shankland, who is, in my opinion, a much better player than Adam Idah. He's in the last year of his contract. Hearts would accept less than 8 million for Lawrence Shankland. I just know that they would. And there you're getting a player that scores more goals than Idah, is all-round better than Idah, and he's Scottish. Now, I know some Celtic fans don't want Shankland because of the club that he plays for and the club that he supports. But, I mean, who cares? You could get Shankland, who, in my opinion, and I think in most fair people's opinion, is better than Adam Idah. Another person you could get for less than 8 million would be Miovski. Now, he'd probably cost a little bit more than Shankland because he is longer on his contract. He's 2 years remaining, I believe, and he's obviously a lot younger than Shankland. But still, you could get Miovski for less than 8 million, I believe, and I think he is also a better player than Adam Idah. So we'll have to wait and see whether Celtic or not get Idah. If they don't get Idah, if the money can't be agreed, then do they turn their attentions to the Scottish Premiership? Do they come knocking on Aberdeen's door, Hearts' door, and try to get something agreed with one of those clubs? So Sky Sports News have revealed that in January there was no option to buy clause in the loan deal, but speaking in May, Rodgers made it clear that he was keen to keep the 23-year-old at the club. Celtic have offered around £4 million, but that is not the amount that Norwich would consider. Newly appointed Canaries head coach Johan Hoof Forup is looking forward to working with Idah, who is due to report for pre-season in Norfolk next week. Idah is under contract until 2028, so yeah, he's still got a lot of time left on his contract. And we know that Rodgers is a big fan of him, so we'll have to wait and see. However, Norwich's sporting director Ben Napper did give Celtic some hope that a deal could be on the cards when admitting that the second-tier outfit will typically look to raise funds via player sales before the summer is out. So, looks like Adam Idah could be used for Norwich to try and raise money. This is what the sporting director Ben Napper said, quote, "There's always pressure on us here to sell because that's our model. Whether we have to sell or we don't, we want to, and that's what defines." However, Norwich's sporting director Ben Napper did give Celtic some hope that a deal could be on the cards when admitting that the second-tier outfit will typically look to raise funds via player sales before the summer is out. So, looks like Adam Idah could be used for Norwich to try and raise money. This is what the sporting director Ben Napper said, quote, "There's always pressure on us here to sell because that's our model. Whether we have to sell or we don't, we want to, and that's what we define as success as well. Of course, we always want to build a team that can win games and get promotion. That's always going to be the ambition. But as well as doing that, in order to be sustainable, we have to try and raise funds via selling players. So we put pressure on ourselves to do that. Every summer is no different in that respect." End of quote. So it does look like Norwich are willing to sell. It's all about the price here. Norwich want 8. Celtic have offered 4. I think that Celtic will increase that offer. I doubt that they're going to walk away after £4 million gets rejected. I do think Celtic will increase it. How much, though, are they willing to increase it? Are they willing to double their initial bid of £4 million? I don't know. £8 million seems a lot for this guy. Yes, he scored some important goals, but again, was he just in the right place at the right time? Was he just the striker that happened to be on? Could O have scored those goals if he was in there? Could somebody else have scored those goals if he was in there? I was never blown away by Adam Idah's ability. I never watched him play, and I never thought, wow, this guy's great. You know, this is a signing that Celtic must make happen. He got important goals, and, you know, goals win games. I'm not going to deny that, but in terms of his all-round play and his ability, I do not look at him as if he's this great striker. I just personally don't see it. And I think if Celtic do sign him, then they're signing him to basically be this guy that can come off the bench and score goals when Celtic need it. I don't think Adam Idah is good enough to be the starting striker at Celtic. And if I was Celtic, I'd be wanting to bring in somebody that could come in and challenge Kyogo. I'd want someone that was, you know, as good, if not better than Kyogo, or can be better than Kyogo. And I just don't see that with Adam Idah. For me, it's not the signing that I would want. And I do think there is better signings in this league, such as Miovski and Shankland. So, look, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Will Celtic get this deal over the line? Will Norwich ask for the $8 million? Will Celtic pay the $8 million? We're going to have to wait and see. I do think that Celtic will get him. I'm going to predict like 6 to 7 million. I think it'll probably be around that region, maybe 6.5. I mean, Celtic can afford it. We all know that they've got this big war chest fund. So, yeah, why not splash that cash? You know, it's simple as that. You need a backup striker. Is O really good enough? Plus, you've got to factor in more games in Europe this season. Is O the man? He's had a chance, and so far, his numbers aren't terrible, but is he really the guy you want to rely on after Kyogo? I don't think so. I think Celtic definitely need to bring in, you know, someone who's better than O, and I just don't know if Idah is that much better, in all honesty. But we'll see what happens here, and if Norwich and Celtic can agree. But at least it's official. We know that Celtic are interested, and that they are currently negotiating with Norwich. So, yeah, be interested to see what happens. I'm going to predict 6.5 million, guys. Let us know whether you think this deal will happen, or do you think Celtic should go elsewhere. I think Celtic should go elsewhere. Lawrence Shankland, he's there. I don't want Hearts to lose him. I don't want Hearts to sell him, but he's got 1 year left in his contract. If Hearts want to gain something back, then, you know, they're going to do it sooner rather than later, because they're going to lose him if they don't. So, yeah, no good losing them for free. So, we'll see what happens. Will Celtic sign Idah? Will they sign Shankland? Will they sign Miovski? But they need to sign somebody, that is for sure. Anyway, guys, catch you in the next one. Till then, peace.